Hi, it's Hillary again. And in our lesson today for College Applications and Essays Bootcamp, we're going to be reviewing the college applications process and timeline. This is intended to give you an overview of the college applications process all the way from now until May 1st of your senior year, so that you just get a big picture view of what needs to happen and when, and generally how this goes. So I'm going to go ahead and start by pulling up a visual that I have for you to go over this timeline. So here we have a visual of the college applications process and timeline, and this is also available for you as a PDF right below this video. So you can click that PDF, download it, keep it on file, or print out a copy so that you have this as a handy reference as you go through the college applications process. So first, I'm just going to give you kind of what we call like the 5 stages, and we think of it as prep and organize, apply, wait, collect, and decide. So now we're going to go into a little bit more detail about each one of those phases. Prep and organize. Let's just start right down here in the lower left. So this is basically the summer before your senior year. And that's for many of you right now. For many of you who are taking this college applications and essays boot camp, you're going to be doing the heavy lifting during the summer before your senior year. There's a couple of reasons why that's really smart. One, because you don't have school going on right now, and you don't have a ton of sports going on right now, especially this year in 2020, where many sports seasons and summer activities and even summer jobs are impacted by what's going on with our world right now. So a couple of the things that I want to point out to you. One is that we've included here a number of different dates, both in the summer and also throughout the fall, when there are ACT and SAT exams going on. And that's important for rising seniors, even though everybody's hope is that you would be done with the ACT or SAT by the time you finish your junior year. That's not always the case. And the good news is that there are some dates for the ACT or SAT exam that will allow you to get your results back and submit those even for early applications deadlines. So there's, for the ACT, July 18th. Over here we have September 12th and October 24th. October 24th will not allow you to get your results back in time for early application deadlines, but if you are applying regular decision, that would give you enough time. For SAT, we have the end of August, 8/29, 10/3, and we also have an 11/7 and a 12/5 over here for the SAT exam. There's also a December date in for the ACT exam, and for anyone who is applying regular decision, which happens in January or February, you would be able to have your scores back in time to meet most of the regular decision deadlines. All right, so let's start to talk a little bit about what we mean by early action, early decision, early application. So here, 11/1 is a common early application and early decision deadline. There is a very important difference between early application and early decision. Early application is not binding. You could apply early application to every single school that you want to, provided that they offer that option. You can only apply to one school early decision. And in a separate video, we're going to be talking a little bit more in depth about various application strategies, which include early application, early decision, regular decision, and some schools only offer what they call a rolling decision. So refer to that video for more details on that. Time-wise, one thing that you need to know is that around August 1st, the Common App is open. And I know you're probably like, well, wait a minute, I'm going to be putting information into the Common App before 8/1 because I want to get this stuff done and out of the way. So what does that mean? It's open. Well, every year, for every new class that's coming through and applying, the Common App sort of refreshes its site and considers itself open on August 1st. So for the class of 2021, for instance, On 8/1/20 is when they will open the Common App for people who are applying for the fall of 2021. So what's important about that is all of the information that we're going to put in for the Common App, they allow you to roll over your information for anything that is general, for anything that is not specific to a particular school. So, so we'll be able to just have all of that information roll over, even if you're putting that information in right now and then continuing, obviously, because you're going to continue to add to that throughout the fall as you're applying. The one thing that they will not roll over is anything that is specific to one school. That does not get saved. So for instance, if you are submitting an essay that's specific to the University of Wisconsin, you can write that essay, you can complete that essay, but you don't want to upload that to your Common App account until after 8/1, because otherwise you're going to have to just do it again. I hope that makes sense. All right, so that's prep and organize. Summer, big heavy lifting time. You can knock 95 to 98% of what you need to get done for college applications out this summer, and then you won't have to even be thinking about it or worrying about it your senior year. Then we get to apply. We think of the college application season as being Labor Day through Halloween. And that doesn't mean all colleges have their deadlines within that time frame, but many, many do, and especially for those early applications deadline. So Labor Day through Halloween, when we're doing this Common App information this summer and putting stuff in there, most schools will not even allow you to hit submit until the beginning of September. And then many, many schools have their early application deadline, as you can see down here in this orange box. 11/1 is a common early application or early decision deadline. So that's why we say Labor Day to Halloween. The advantage of early application is you're getting it turned in sooner and you're going to hear back sooner. And not all schools, but for some schools, there is a slightly higher chance of admission on early application than regular decision. Just as a note, because I know that a lot of the folks I'm talking to are in Madison, Wisconsin. University of Wisconsin is not one of those. They state on their website and from their Office of Admissions that if you apply early action or regular decision, it doesn't really matter. You have the same chance of admission into the University of Wisconsin. It's just a matter of when you're able to get your application in and how quickly you'd like to hear back. All right, so another important thing to take a look at here in the apply phase is that 10/1 is when the FAFSA is open. That is the financial aid form that you will fill out, and everybody should fill this out. 10/1 is the earliest you can fill it out. You can fill it out at any point throughout your senior year. We generally recommend that you and your parents sit down and fill out the FAFSA more toward the beginning of the open time there after October 1 than waiting, because there is an advantage in terms of obtaining financial aid to getting your application in sooner rather than later. Another important thing to note about the early application deadline of November 1 is in some cases, schools will have their scholarship application deadlines coincide with their early application deadlines. So this is why it's very, very important for us to really understand what each school that we're applying to requires and what all their deadlines are, because you want to know not only which application strategy do I want to use, early application, early decision, or regular decision, but you also want to make sure that you're aware of any deadlines that you need to hit if you're applying for scholarship. All right, then we move into, let's say that you, hopefully you won't be down to the wire. Hopefully sometime right after you're going to be submitting those applications. Sometime Labor Day through Halloween, you're all done with your essays. You've got all your letters of recommendation collected from the teachers and other recommenders that you have asked to provide a recommendation for you. Everything's done. You're ready to hit submit. and you're submitting it sometime in this apply phase. And then when we get to this November 1st through December 31st, there's really not a lot to do. You're pretty much just waiting. And if you applied early action, you may be hearing back from some schools already by the middle of December, toward the end of December. Then we get into what we call the collect phase. And the reason we call it the collect phase is because there's two key things going on here. If you are applying regular decision, most regular decision deadlines will be January 1, February 1, January 15th. They're right in that time frame. But also in the months of January, February, you will be continuing to collect responses from the colleges to which you've applied. Another thing to note here that is not common to all students, but it is relevant for anybody who may be a recruited student athlete. Recruited student athletes typically commit to their schools a lot sooner than somebody who's not committing to a team, somebody who's not going to play college athletics. So it's quite possible that recruited student athletes may already have committed by this January, February timeframe. In fact, for some recruited student athletes, that is much, much sooner. It may be even prior to the start of your senior year. If you are not a recruited student athlete, then this phase, decide, is typically happening for you March through May 1. And you can see in this blue box here, 5/1, May 1st, has typically been referred to as National Decision Day. And that just means that by May 1, most colleges will expect you to have let them know if you are going to accept their offer of admission. And then that's when you also are letting other schools know that you've decided not to go there. So the important thing for you to know about that is this is a really long, extended process, and it's different for different students. So our recommendation is that seniors, rising seniors like you, do all that heavy lifting in the summer before, get your stuff all together, apply, hit apply for all your colleges that you can in that Labor Day through Halloween time frame, and then kind of be able to just sit back and wait for responses to come back. That isn't necessarily going to be the case for all students. We have certainly worked with seniors who, for instance, may not have the ACT score or SAT score that they want yet, and are going to take another swing at it in the fall time frame, which means they're probably saying, okay, I'm going to either do that summer or early fall so that I can still submit early application, or I may decide that I'm going to do one of these early winter exam times so that I'm ready with that score that I'm still trying to get in time for regular decision dates. So it's very, very individualized per student. You need to make the choice that's right for you. If you have questions about that or want to have a conversation about that, you can email me at hillary@oncampuscollegeplanning.com. But the intention of this chart is really to let you know in general, how do things flow. The other thing that is important under the decide phase is that typically you're not hearing back about financial aid from the colleges to which you've been accepted until March or April, which is another reason why, especially if you're waiting for financial aid information, you likely won't be making a final decision until close to May 1st. And unless you're a recruited student athlete or you have applied early decision because you wanted to commit to one school right off the bat, there really is not an advantage to making a decision a lot easier or a lot earlier than May 1st. And the reason this is important for you is because throughout your senior year, you're going to start to hear from friends who have already decided. And it may start to make you feel like, I should know already. I'm behind. I should already have decided. And that is simply not the case. In fact, our own son, Joe, did not make his final decision on college. He's a senior this year. Didn't make his final decision on college until days before May 1st. He just had a couple of great options. He was down to a couple of great options. and he had a really hard time deciding. And that is fine. There was nothing wrong with him delaying that decision, collecting more information. The other thing that's going to be happening throughout this time is that you will be visiting campuses, maybe for the first time, maybe for the second time. Maybe you're going to be making some really key visits during this January, February, March, April timeframe that will help you make that final decision. So there's a lot that goes into your decision about which college you want to attend, and it's really important not to rush that decision. So again, you can download this PDF if you would like. You can refer to this video again and again if you want a refresher. And again, if you have any questions at all, you can email me at hillary@oncampuscollegeplanning.com. We'll see you in the next lesson.